Man, this vest makes me look fat.
Freedom!
So fresh, so new.
Freedom!
It's all for you.
All for you. Freedom!
Keep your ear to the ground.
Talking about the freedom!
This is me walking to the casino. This is how everybody else is dressed. Okay, Grace, we are now playing 510 at Niagara, but you're not here because you came down with like the flu or something and didn't come to the casino.
Yes, because I'm considerate.
Yes, if everybody was just like that. So here, middle position raises to 35. I look down at ace jack of clubs on the button, a candidate to 3-bet, but I elect to just make the call.
How many people in front of you?
It was just one person who raised, and then I called.
That's fine.
Both blinds get out of the way. We're going to go heads up to a flop, and it comes not bad. Ace 7-4, and the first player, the only player in the pot actually, the middle position player, is going to lead for the same amount he bet pre-flop, 35.
I think he's gonna do that a lot with I think he's gonna do that with a lot of hands. So I don't mind just a flat here.
I don't mind it either because a lot of times I make that same bet where I make it 35 as well. Turn card is the 5 of diamonds, and putting 3 diamonds on the board, he slows down.
I might throw in a bet here. I think you have the best hand.
I do too, and I do bet. I bet 75, which is going to force him to make a decision, and he makes the call. Here comes the river card now, and it is the 3 of hearts.
Should be irrelevant. He shouldn't have a deuce here. Why'd you check?
I checked and rolled over my hand because I just did, and he had 2 nines.
Okay.
You know, he could have he could have ace queen there and be going for pot control and stuff.
I think if he has ace queen, I think he leads the turn. I don't know that he checks to you.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're always right. All right, Grace, second hand here. Middle position 1 has raised it up to $35. The low jack makes the call. I'm in the big blind here, so we're going to have to wait for everybody in front of me. The button now raises to 135. Small
Suspense.
Yeah, small blind. I have big slick, the hand that you say.
Never wins.
I'm probably going to come in for a 4-bet. Your thoughts?
I like it.
And the reason is because I'm out of position here, and I want to force those other hands. I don't want to price them into that 135 by me calling.
You might as well win the $200 in the pot because you know you can't win if you see a flop.
Ain't that the truth? So I may get $320 to go. It forces out the original raiser, forces out the low jack who had just called earlier. And he's going to get it back to this lady on the button. And she only has, like, if she was to make this call, she would only have $300 behind. So I was actually expecting her to shove. She did not. She just called.
Okay. Let's go to a flop.
We're going to a flop. We're only $300 effective now behind. It comes ace 10-7. I flop well again. And I just go ahead and jam her 300.
I think that's fine. If she has an ace, she's going to call it off. If she bricks, she's going to fold anyway. And the board, I mean, she could have a flush draw that she'll get it in with.
Well, I think it's unlikely that she would barrel off into this, you know, just jam into this without an ace. So, like, if she had, like, queens or jacks or something, she would just check behind and then get a free turn.
Right. You might as well just make her pay.
And I did. So I jammed the 300, and she's in the tank for some reason. She's going to take her time here, figure out what she wants to do. Eventually, she throws in 1 chip, signifying a call. And I'm loving life because there's no way I'm behind.
One would think. Let's see the rest of the board first.
Turn card comes safe. It's a 4 of hearts. River card is presumably safe. It's a deuce of clubs. I show my hand. And she says that she has queens, but I don't think we ever see them. So,
I mean, it's possible. She played it. She played it like she could have queens.
let's get right into another hand, Grace. We have an under the gun straddle to 20, and then a raise to 60. I look down at a wired pair of sevens on the button. 3-betting is an option, but I elect to just make the call here and try to set mine.
I think that's fine.
The original Straddler, go ahead and makes the call, so his range is infinite. And we're going to go 3 ways to a flop in this 5-10 game, which is actually pretty good. You're probably sad you missed it.
I am, but I was too busy dying in the hotel room, so...
Yeah, you'd picked up something nasty while we were up in Toronto. So the flop comes good. Same flop as the last hand, as a matter of fact. 7 ace 10. Under the gun player checks, and the original raiser is going to throw out a bet of 75 here in just a second. And what's interesting about that is I have a set of 7s, and the bet is 75. That seems like a sign.
No, it doesn't. What if you had a set of 5s? It'd be the same thing.
There's no 5 on the flop.
I know. But don't you love flopping a set on the button?
It's one of the most magical places to be. The turn card is a 6. That should change absolutely nothing. 8-9 gets there, but the chances of having 8-9 are pretty slim.
Now he checks. I would bet something probably really small. He doesn't seem to have much.
Well, let's see how much I bet. I normally do bet small, so I probably will.
Beautiful half pot size bets.
Oh, let's see. Sure did. I sure did. And so I bet 160 on this card, and it's going to get back to him, and he's going to have a decision to make here with what I can only hope is like ace queen, ace jack. It's probably not ace king because he would have fired that again, right?
He would have bet ace king again for sure.
Yeah, he probably would have bet ace queen as well. So he just throws his hand in the muck, and I look like an idiot.
Yeah, I think the sizing was a little bit too big. He seemed really weak. I probably would have bet maybe like 85, 90, 100.
Yeah, a little bit smaller. Well, let's get into this next hand here. Where somebody had to post their small blind, and then we get a limp out of me from the small blind with king 5 of clubs, and the big blind checks his option. The flop comes king 7-10. That's not a bad flop.
No, it's pretty good. You just completed, right?
Yeah, I just called from the small blind. We're just actually heads up because the guy who posted a small blind folded. I make it 10 to go because there's nothing in the pot. He makes the call of 10. Turn card, not bad. 3 of hearts. I should still be in the lead.
You should. So it's you against a guy that posted his hand?
No, it's just me and the big blind.
Oh, okay.
So I'm out of position this entire hand. The guy who posted a small blind, he just folded.
Gotcha.
So now I fire $35, trying to get trying to build a pot. 'Cause I have a pretty good hand here and some equity with my draw.
Also fine. What does he do?
He's gonna think for a while and he's gonna make the call.
Okay.
We're gonna go heads up now to the river, which is gonna be a club, right? No. 6 of spades on the river, and I'm going to go for 3 streets, Grace, because I think my top pair is probably beating his 1-pair hand.
Okay. So what do you bet? Half pot?
I bet 100, almost full-size pot.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm going for some value here. It's blind versus blind. I have top pair, and I know I didn't hit my flush, but I'm probably good.
I mean, he's thinking, which is probably a good sign, unless he's thinking about raising.
Oh, he's definitely thinking about raising, Grace. And there it is. He makes it 325 to go. And the only hand that gets there is 8-9 and 4-5. And 4-5 is impossible because he would never have called a flop bet with that.
Right. Well, your flop bet... No, your flop bet, he wouldn't even call. So you called.
I called. He shows ace high with the ace of clubs, so he was blocking the nut flush there. But I'm going to take down a nice one here, blind versus blind. Grace, you've never seen this hand, but I can tell you, I think you're going to like it, and you're going to have no idea why.
Okay.
So the low jack limps. I have 2 5s near the button in the cutoff, so I make it 35 to go.
Why not just make it 55 to guarantee yourself to flop a set?
Well, I didn't want to give away the strength of my hand. So
you missed.
So the flop comes king jack 4. After he checks, I'm going to try to take it down.
Okay.
I bet 50 with my 5s.
Okay.
He makes the call, and boom.
Oh, see?
That's, for you guys out there that don't know, that's called turning a set, and that is also called the loo, which is something Grace is great at.
Yes. I don't flop many. I turn a lot.
I decide to bet 80 now with my very nutted hand, and the action's going to go back over to the middle position player who decides to make it 330.
Yes.
So this is a great spot to be in. Would you recommend a call or a raise?
How deep are you guys?
No, I don't know that kind of stuff.
Right. Not important at all.
I'm sure I have like 2,000. I can't see what he has. So, and my notes don't say, so.
It's pretty hard to just
Just assume we have a lot of chips.
Okay, I would probably raise.
Okay, so I'm going to probably just call, and that's exactly what I do. So I call, like they say, keep his range wide.
I mean, you're in position. It's fine, too.
River card is a 6 of hearts, and that shouldn't change anything at all. So if I'm ahead on the turn, I should be ahead now. He bets 525. I don't think there's much of a decision. I suppose you could raise, but because I don't know this guy at all, I don't know how tight he is in spots like this, I elect to just call.
I would probably raise, but okay.
Yeah, so I just called, and he threw his cards face down into the muck, which is why you don't see me expose my hand to the table.
Well, then a raise probably... I mean, you weren't going to get any more money, so pat on the back.
Every day I'm left to die, working hard and wondering why.
Okay, I've made it to my favorite spot here, the chairs. I don't know if this is the midway point or not through the game. My guess is no, that it's towards the end of the night. Grace is still sick. She didn't make it over here. I did, in the middle of the game, take her something to eat. Husband of the year. But she's out. She's down for the count, sleeping all day. I feel so bad for her. Especially since she didn't really want to come here. She was... So, the game. Yeah, the game's good. 0.510. And had any huge spots. A guy did try to bluff me when I turned a set. Don't do that. Don't try to bluff me. Don't try to bluff me, period. But especially don't try to bluff me when I have a set. A couple weeks ago, I gave you some advice. Try to get your chips to go up. That was my advice. My advice now is don't bluff people when they have sets. Do those two things and you're going to make money. I got me a cup of Tim Hortons coffee here. And so I went over there to the Tim Hortons because it's the only thing open. Burger King closed, I guess. And I said to the lady there, I said, I want a grilled cheese sandwich. Sounds delicious. And I know Americans are fat. I get it. But the Tim Hortons here, she gave me my grilled cheese sandwich. And she said, what kind of donut do you want for your side? How are Canadians not fatter? What kind of donut do I want for my side? I got Bavarian cream, and I got a coffee, because I'm on a diet. But yeah, I don't, it's Tim Hortons. I think it would definitely make me fat if I was to continue to eat the Tim Hortons. Alright, Grace, let's jump right back in here. We have a pair of wired jacks after the under the gun +1 raised it to 35.
Stop saying wired.
It is wired. I go in for the 3-bet to 105. Any problem with that?
It's a little on the small side.
You'd go larger than 105?
Probably.
It's 70 more to him.
Yeah, I don't like the standard, 3x.
Okay.
Yeah, I would make it a little bit bigger.
Well, I made it 105. He makes the call, and we're going to see a flop. And for some reason in this vlog, I didn't get a set.
Probably because you didn't bet whatever the chip equivalent to Jack is.
I don't know what that would be.
110.
Well, okay, 105 was close. Anyway, he checks, and I think a bet here sounds fine. There's not a lot of queens he's going to have, so I make it 160 to charge those draws, like ace king, ace jack, king jack, 9 jack maybe, those kind of things. Although I blocked the jack hands, but anyway, I bet 160 and he calls.
Okay.
Turn card is another 10, and this is not really a fantastic card, do you think?
I think it's a better card for you than it is for him if he's got a drawing hand.
Okay, well, if he has a drawing hand, it is definitely better for me, so you would recommend a bet?
Yeah, if he's got a queen, he's not going to fold anyway. I mean, if he has a queen, he's probably not going to go away from this bet, but you'll find out. If he has a drawing hand, a lot of times with the board pairing, it's not going to be a good texture for him, so I think he'll just fold.
Well, I bet $250, and that is going to force him well into the tank. So, he probably doesn't have a queen. He probably doesn't have a 10, because he probably would act a little bit faster. At least with a queen, he would probably just call, get to the river, try to get there as cheaply as possible. Don't you think?
Yes, and with the 10, you're gonna hear from him.
Yeah, I'm expecting a 10 not to fold here. I think his most likely hand is going to be a draw, and given the fact that he ends up throwing his cards into the muck, that's probably exactly what he had.
He might have floated you with you. He might have floated you with a medium pocket pair too.
It's possible, but he doesn't have the skills that you do of turning a set. All right, Grace, all of those hands that I've shown, I've won every single hand, but guess what? This is the only hand that anybody in the comments is going to talk about. I have pocket kings. It was made $30 to go. I made it 105, which you said is too small. And now the very next player to act comes over the top of me in just a second. He's going to make it a little bit more. He makes it 275.
Okay. Where are you guys? You're in middle position. No, you're in...
Yeah, no, we're in middle. We're in middle late.
Okay, I wouldn't be concerned yet. Do you go for the 5-bet?
Well, after the original raiser throws his cards into the muck. Now remember, this is the guy who tried to get me to fold top pair earlier. So he knows I'm a little bit sticky, and that goes into my thinking here. I don't think he's doing this with a wide variety of hands. I think it's probably pretty narrow.
Okay. Have you seen a lot of 4-bets before?
No. Especially not from this guy. So I end up just making the call, and I want to see what develops on the flop.
Okay.
So the flop is terrible. It's 10-10 queen. So the most likely hand he could have that I was beating, I am now way behind in the pocket queens. And aces still have me beat. But it goes check-check, so that's not terrible. Turn card is a 3.
That shouldn't change anything.
No, and I'm going to go for more pot control, go into like a check call mode.
That's fine.
I don't know what's taking me so long. Maybe I checked verbally. But eventually I do check, and the action is going to go... Yeah, there's the check. And now the action is going to go over to him.
I
And
imagine he's going to bet.
yeah, what do you think he's going to bet? There's 600 in the pot.
I think he's going to bet... Well, if he has queens, he's obviously going to bet.
Sure.
If he has kings, it's unlikely, but since you have 2 kings, he'll also bet. If he has aces, he's going to bet. If he has ace-king, he might try to go for just a steal with his, gutter and 2 overs.
Since it looks like I have 2 9s or something.
Yeah.
So the low jack bets $325. And now it's over to me, and I elect to make the call.
Okay. Your hand's pretty disguised right now, I think.
It is. He probably has no idea that I have exactly what I have. The river card might be one of the worst cards in the deck.
Oh, that's awful. Now you're beating nothing.
I agree. So I make the only play that I think I can, and that is a check. I'm hoping it goes check, but in my heart of hearts, I know there's no chance it's going to.
It might. I mean, I would check aces here. Like, if I were him and I had aces, I would check here.
Grace,
What?
he doesn't check. In fact, he does the exact opposite of check, and he bets $1,000.
There's nothing you can beat. Ace-king gets there. I think more likely he has queens.
It's possible. So I threw my hand in the muck, and that is going to wrap up the hands for this week.
Me too.
Nice to meet you, buddy. You'll be on the vlog.
All right, take care.
And Meatball, you're gonna be on the vlog too. It'll work 100% of the time. I would have bet a lot of money you had the best hand.
All right, the only 2 left because Grace, couldn't make it out. We're leaving, and the 5-10 game busted 4 hours ago. We've been horsing around on 2-5, had a good time. Had a really good table.
Good.
We had, see if I can remember all these names, Dan. We had Nick, and then the other Nick, who's also named Meatball, who I took a video of, so you should have saw him. We had Tan, Saj, Jess, Gina. Who else? Mark.
I think I had 2 your left.
Yeah, Tan. Obviously Tan. He's actually a vlog watcher, so Tan's my favorite of them all. Who was to my right? Who was to my right?
It was Saj.
Peter. Remember Peter? And then Way. And then whoever was in seat 1. Neither of us can remember your name. Sorry, but enjoyed hanging out with you too. So overall for the trip, I think Grace ended up 1,000. I ended up because I won 1,500 in this game. I forgot to tell you. I think I won 2,000 for the trip, maybe a little bit less. How did you do?
I'm not really sure. I think I was up maybe about 4 or so.
4,000?
Yeah.
So like $20 Canadian.
Yeah. No,
But-
$20 USD.
Oh yeah, $20 American. We're heading over to Tim Hortons for the final time. That's it. We're out of here. Okay, we remember the two people we forgot. Seat 1 was Jonathan, and then seat 5 was Jerry.
Jerry.
So shout out to you guys. Okay, bye.
TEMVTED. Tempted. I was tempted. Tempted by your smile. I was tempted. And for a little while I was certain that I will be the one to change you, and you will be mine. You will be mine. I was tempted, tempted.